All right, guys. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this flat field we call Earth. Underneath the Astrodome. I guess you could say it would be the Daikin Park roof. Assuming that it is closed today, but I have no idea. Hey, Sergio, it's good to see you. How are things going? Just a few minutes away from game time. I'm at the tail end of getting over a cough. Starting yesterday, there has been some output, I guess you could say. Some stuff coming out. So I'm getting close to the tail end of having to deal with this cough, thankfully. Really, really tired of it. I'm happy to see it go. The sooner, the better. Let me try to get my layout straightened up on the screen here. Should be okay right now, I believe. Yeah, about right there. Yeah, I think right there is okay. I'm going to drop a poll on here before we get started. What do you believe Tucker's impact on a game today will be? The biggest factor. The biggest factor for the Cubs, moderate effect. None. The Astros will handle him no problem. There we go. The biggest factor for the Cub, moderate effect. There we go. And too many characters. There we go. Boom. Things are going better for me than were yesterday. Sergio, every day things are going good for you. Every day things are going good. There's no such thing as better or worse. Every day is a good day. Chris says, hopefully nothing. I don't want to see anybody with Tucker masks in our stands. Well, I can understand the fans still having some affection for Tucker, and they did have like a welcome back video for Tucker, and I think that's good and that's fair. It's not like Tucker decided to leave, right? That's different. If Tucker had been in negotiations and he had the opportunity, like for example, Alex Bregman. If Alex Bregman comes back and plays in Daikin Park with the Red Sox, he does not deserve a welcome back video. That's my opinion. As much as I respected and liked Alex Bregman, especially since he played with LSU and everything he did for the Astros, the way he left was such that he does not deserve a welcome back wagon. But Kyle Tucker is a separate issue. But I agree with you, Chris. Seeing people wearing, like Astros fans wearing Kyle Tucker masks, that would be ridiculous. Walter is on the mound, Sergio. That's right. There was speculation that McCullers would be pitching today. Really? I don't know why that would be. I didn't hear anything about that. I don't know why McCullers would pitch if he's still on the injured list, on the IL. Still on the IL. Ronaldo, hello. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, Ryan Presley also is back, guys. Forgot about that. They mentioned Ryan Presley earlier. Another contributor to the Astros. KF says that's baseball. That's right. That's baseball. Sometimes players go when they don't want to go. Sometimes they're dealt by the team. And sometimes the players leave in a way that rubs the fans wrong. And sometimes the players choose to leave because it's just best for them, even though they don't necessarily want to go. It seems obvious that even though there's an opportunity for them to stay, it just isn't fair for them to stay. Sometimes the teams are just unable to give them what they deserve, and I can't be angry with them. I mean, think about this. If I get $10 million more dollars, let's say that I get offered $150 million on a contract to go play for another team, and the team where I'm at, which I've built a relationship with over a period of a long time, and I have a really close relationship with the fans, and I'm really loved there, and they offer me $140 million. It's a $10 million difference. The only reason that I'm going to go to that other place is if that happens to be where I've always wanted to be. If not, then I would have to stay where I'm at. I think that would be ridiculous. But if my home team, my hometown and my home team are offering me $150 million and they're offering me $200 million to go somewhere else, why would I not take that? That's a significant difference. So I can't blame players for taking that. Now, I will say this. Now that I've said all that, I will say this. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm going to say this. Everybody in the major leagues basically is getting paid way too much money. They're playing a freaking game. It's a game. So even though we follow the teams and we support our teams and we love our teams and we want our teams to do well, we should remember not to take it too seriously. But there's big money being thrown around because at the end of the day, more than anything else, these are entertainment leagues. It's bread and circuses is what it is. It's bread and circuses. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Bread and circuses. I always keep that in mind. So I enjoy baseball with a very, very open mind and a keen awareness. So there's nothing wrong with enjoying baseball or football or anything else. But if it distracts you from reality, then it has become a problem. Chris says, I have the worst time changing from DL to IL. Maybe in another century I'll get it right. Yeah, Ryan Presley, he was one of those guys. I mean, I don't know why. I've seen over the past, well, not necessarily recently because he hasn't been here, but before he left and he was still pitching with the Astros, I saw so many negative comments, and it's like everybody just completely forgot. That's one of the things I really don't like about fans, sports fans, is they get fickle so fast. You can like a guy and love a guy, and people start to disrespect that guy or diss on him when he isn't currently performing. But if you like a player and you believe in a player, you need to accept that player even when he's down. The Astros are wearing the jerseys that I ordered. The Altuve jersey that I ordered should be here any day. Starting from today, it could be delivered any time over the next 3 days. Very much looking forward to getting that jersey. Brandon Walter is on the mound warming up right now. He will be pitching to Ian Happ in just a moment. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, here's a little trivia for you. The third batter today, Japanese batter, Seiya Suzuki, he comes from the Japanese Professional Baseball League. Which team does he come from? The Hiroshima Carp. So I was really sad to see him go because he was such a great player here in Japan. And initially, he was under contract with the Hiroshima Carp baseball team, and they basically loaned him out. They allowed the Cubs to essentially rent him. You know, it's common even in MLB to, you know, a player has a contract with another team, and the other team kind of just picks it up and pays some money to have him, and that's how Suzuki Seiya went to the MLB. And so a lot of people here were very sad to see him disappear from the Carp. The first pitch is just in there. Strike one against Ian Happ. The game is underway. Here's the next pitch. A little high. Ball one. High and outside. I'm going to turn this volume up a little bit. It's a little too low. Here comes the 1-1. Ripped into the foul area over on the third base side. Off into the crowd. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sergio says Bregman is a different story. He chose to chase the money. Yeah, and he didn't chase a huge amount, so I don't support really his decision. Ooh, that could have been strike 3 right there, but just a tad outside, maybe by 1 centimeter. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Happ. What's happening? What's going to happen? Strike 3, that's what's going to happen. Walter gets a K for the first out of the game, and that brings up to bat everybody's favorite ex-lefty for the Astros, Kyle Tucker. Crowd is actually cheering. Lots of welcome back images. Kyle Tucker smiling at the plate, takes off his hat and does a little nod to everybody. There are some Astros fans holding up King Tuck signs. Even we love Kyle Tucker signs held up by Astros fans. That's interesting. Here comes the first pitch. Right in there. Strike 1. Nice. 93 mile per hour stinker. I need to move this over a little bit. 1 second. I think my screen is a little off. Let me try to fix it. 1 second. Tucker hits that out to left field. Pena is back behind Paredes. He puts it away. So Kyle Tucker flies out to left field. 2 up and 2 down. No problem there. Walter owning Tucker so far. Next batter, Suzuki Seiya, right inside, ball 1. Seiya with 21 home runs this year. That next pitch is a 78 mile per hour swiffer right on the outside edge for strike 1. 1-1 is the count. Suzuki fouls that off. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. KF says players are going to get what they can because their careers are relatively short. Well, it's not about just that. They're getting paid a ton of money, KF. A ton of money. It's not about the careers being short. If they're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars, Think about that. I mean, compare that to the income of most people. The vast majority of people get nowhere near that much money. Here's a 2 grabbed by Walker for out number 3. All right, Brandon Walter has a 1-2-3 first inning. No hits, no base runners. We go to the bottom of the first. Astros first opportunity to get some runs on the board against the Cubs. 22 people following the live stream right now. Thank you for being here. I do ask that you leave a like on the channel if you don't mind. Our listeners just jumped up to 24, but I only have 11 likes on the live stream. That's an issue. That's less than 50%, and that's not good. So if you will, just leave a like on the live stream. We just finished the top of the first. Nothing doing for the Cubs, thankfully. Oh, by the way, I don't know why I forgot to change this. I'm sorry, guys. I downloaded the new image, and I forgot to change it on the screen. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. I still had the Phillies logo, the Phillies picture caricature on the screen. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Cade Horton is the pitcher for the Cubs. He will be facing Jeremy Pena, followed by Isaac Paredes, and then Jose Altuve. Altuve is on second base today. Cam Smith is batting fourth in right field. Myers batting fifth in center field. Caratini is the DH today, batting sixth, the Batman. Christian Walker at first base, batting seventh. Yainer Diaz is catching and batting eighth. They have moved him way down. And Trammell is back in the game for the Astros in left field. Trammell has been getting some playing time recently. Horton, here's a who? Horton is on the mound facing Pena. First pitch on the way in just a moment. Here's the pitch. This is hit right up the middle, all the way out to center field, right at the warning track, and put away. So Pena goes after that first pitch, gives it a little bit of a ride. But it happens to be right where the center fielder is playing. One away. Sergio says, I agree with what you're saying. There's a lot of knuckleheads that keep negatively commenting on Christian Walker, so I see what you mean. Well, but Sergio, what you're saying about Christian Walker has nothing to do with what I'm saying about Ryan Presley, or what I said about Ryan Presley. That's a strike. Paredes is down 0-2 already. Ryan Presley was a player that was with the Astros for a while, and he had a reputation. And when he started to struggle, people really got onto him. He and Christian Walker can't possibly. To first base, man. Wow. Altuve almost with a home run out to the Crawford boxes. Just a little too far to the right. That ball went way up, way up. If he had pulled it just a little bit more, it would have missed that notch in the wall and gone straight into the Crawford boxes. Almost a home run for Altuve. Wow. A 2-run homer in the first inning would have been freaking awesome, especially from Altuve. Cam Smith is at the plate. Let's see if he can crank it up. On the inside, half swing. Ball one. 28 people following and 17 likes. 3 more to go to get to 20. Give me a like on the live stream, guys, if you don't mind. 1-0 is the count with 2 outs to Smith. Inside again for ball 2. Paredes is on first base with a single. King Tech. You mean King Tuck? Outside and in the dirt. Check swing. They say he went around. Really? Are you serious? Look at this. Look at this. I'm not so sure about that. He did not break and go around. But anyway, 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the next pitch to Cam Smith. In the dirt again. This time he takes it all the way. 3 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, Chris, I guess the average starting salary is around $1 million. I don't know. I'm not sure. Here's the pitch. Bottom inside of the zone, inside corner. Cam throws his bat down like it's ball 4, but that's a strike. Yeah, it was close, but can't argue with it. Can't argue with that. Hey, Caesar, good to see you. Welcome back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count to Cam. Come on, crank it up. Too far inside. Ball 4. Got 2 runners on. At least Paredes is now in scoring position for Jake the Rake. Jake the Rake comes to the plate. So the Astros giving the Cubs a little bit of trouble in the very first inning of this game. No, Cam didn't go around. From that angle, maybe you thought he went around, but he actually did not go around. Here's a pitch. Fouled off on the first base side. The problem with the camera angle is that they're not showing it directly from the side. If you see it from the side, you'll see that he didn't go around. I saw 3 different angles, and I know that he didn't go around. Here's a pitch. Basically in the dirt. Ball 1. 1-1. Yeah, that was a good at bat. Making Horton work. Making him throw it in the zone. 2 on with 2 outs. 1-1 is the count to... Easy. Paredes is not a speed demon. Why would you send him on a shallow single from second base? Why would you do that? We could have had bases loaded with Victor Caratini at the plate. That would have been a much preferable result. So Perez Chica, notorious for stopping Astros when he should let them go, decides to let them go when he should stop them. Really? You sent Isaac Paredes? Now think about this, guys. Paredes was on second base. It was a shallow, fast single by Myers to right field to Kyle Tucker, who has an arm. And he sends Isaac Paredes, who is really just a moderate runner. An overweight guy? You going to send him? He got tagged out before he can even get into his slide. Nonsense. 2 hits for the Astros in the first inning, but terrible third base. Can the Astros please get a different third base coach? Please. That's my opinion. Change the third base coach. He has just made too many grievous errors. Too many grievous errors. For those of us who pay attention to the games and watch the games, we know that we need a new third base coach. But yeah, I was going to say this. The starting salary also has nothing to do with what I was saying earlier. I'm talking about players who are doing well and getting offered contracts. And they negotiate to make more money. Walter is back on the mound. First pitch to Dansby Swanson is a ball. Here comes the next pitch. Long pause by Walter. Now it's on the way. On the inside edge. Dansby didn't think that was in there, but umpire says, yep. Here comes the next. Wow. That was an opposite field hit, so he had a long distance to cover, and he wasn't able to get there. So the Cubs have a guy on third base with no outs in the second inning, their first hit of the game. Left-handed batter at the plate, Pete Crow Armstrong. He bounces it foul down the first baseline, strike one. By the way, what I was going to say, guys, is if a guy is only making like $750,000 or $1 million a year, and he's trying to negotiate to get a little bit more, and he decides to leave to go to another club, I don't think really any fans are going to care about that guy. Not really. Up and in, swing and a miss. Strike two. Typically, a guy like that has not endeared himself to the fans very deeply. And so if he decides to go somewhere else just to make, another couple $100,000 a year, I don't think anybody's really going to care about that so much. I'm not talking about those guys. High and outside for ball one. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, Crispy, you're right. 1, he's not fast. It was a bad call to send him. Number 2, yes, his hamstring. Please think about his leg. Terrible decision to send him. Absolutely terrible decision. We need a better third base coach. 2 balls and 2 strikes with that last pitch. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Right on the outside edge. Ooh, that was just a little outside. Full count to Armstrong. Fox at bat says ready for another sweep. Go Astros. Yes, another sweep. A sweep of the Cubs. That's been immediately step on the bag and hold the runner at third. Good play. That was like a gimme. Just an easy tapper down the first baseline. Whenever Walker grabbed it, he immediately stepped on the bag. Talk about easy. Swanson couldn't go anywhere. He had to stay on third. 1 away. All right. Me likey. Here's the first pitch to Carson Kelly. Fouled off for strike 1. Yeah, we know we can get hits off this pitcher, that's for sure. Jordan says, I hope it doesn't cost us the game. Paredes looked like it was a stupid call, too. Altuve might have... Yeah, Altuve would have made it, for sure. I mean, not barely. He would have definitely made it. He's a lot faster than Paredes. Cam Smith, Altuve, Pena, Myers, any one of those guys would have made that, but you don't send Isaac Paredes. Isaac Paredes isn't slightly slower than Altuve. He's a lot slower than Altuve. 1-1 is the count. Fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There were 2 outs when that single was hit, so I understand that they were going on contact. I understand that. But it's still, the fact is that it was Isaac Paredes. Why would you send Isaac Paredes? Altuve, yes. Pena, yes. Cam Smith, yes. Myers, yes. But not Paredes. Strike 3. Carson Kelly goes down for out number 2. 4-seam fastball. High fastball. Swing and a miss. Yes, Abel, you're right. He's a fast turtle. But that doesn't make him fast, right? He's just a fast turtle. Here's the pitch. Swing and foul ball. Nico Horner? What a name is that? Nico Horner. Hello, Nico. My name's Nico. Nico Horner. I don't know why there's a British accent with that. Hello, Mr. Horner. Your tea's ready, as usual. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. He does the fake catch. All right. So Brandon Walter gives up that triple in the corner, but he comes back and puts away the next 3 batters. Cubs get nothing from it, just a hit and a stranded runner. How about that? Horton, here's a who. We'll be back up on the mound in just a moment. facing Victor Caratini, then Christian Walker, and Yainer Diaz. Ayush, the reason that Paredes was trying to go for home, I guarantee you, I 100% guarantee you, is because Paris Chica told him to go. I don't want to assume that that's the reason, but I have to guess that Paris Chica sent him, because Paris Chica often makes incorrect decisions. I really want to go back and look at the video. Maybe I should make a highlight reel like that for the Astros for the whole season. All of the times that Paris Chica said to stop when he should have said go, and the times that he said go when he should have said stop. That would be a funny highlight video, but it would take so much work to do that. But maybe today, guys, I will go back and look and see whose fault is that. Did Paredes go through a stop sign, or did Paris Chica say go? Because my guess is that Paris Chica said go. Why are the Astros never getting those close calls, but every other team does? Because we are the Astros, my friends. That is why. That is why. Astros are just that team. Victor Caratini comes to the plate. He'll be batting lefty against Horton. Crispy says, at least Jake the Rake continues to hit. That's absolutely right. She should be batting second so he gets some more at bats. Well, right now he's batting fifth. It's not bad. First pitch is in there to Caratini for strike one, a 97-mile-per-hour fastball in the zone. He takes a timeout. Yes, Crispy, you're right. Good job by Walter to get out of the inning. Next pitch in the dirt, swing and a miss. Come on, Caratini. You know, it's funny because Caratini has been showing that power from the right side of the plate. But last year, my impression was that he had more power from the left side. But I've only seen it this year, really, from the right side of the plate. If he does something amazing right here, it would be really great. Ball 1-2, the count. Here comes the pitch. This is hit out into left field. Is it going to be? Yes, it's going to be playable by the left fielder. He puts it away for out number 1. Caratini flies out. That'll bring up Christian Walker, his first at bat of the game. Ayush says, this pitching staff is some elite stuff. It feels like you can count on them every day, almost not give up more than 3 innings. Yeah, I mean, even our minor league guys, right? We have injuries after injury after injury, right? And then we bring up guys, and then they just do their job. Right in there, half swing from Christian Walker. Doesn't matter, strike 1. Here's the next pitch. Bottom of the zone, 96-mile-per-hour, strike 2. 0-2. Walker behind in the count. Yes, Texas Dave. Go Astros. Let's go, go, go. All the way to a victory against the Cubs at home. Let's crush it. Come on, let's go. Where's the energy? Let's go. Walker grounds that one to the shortstop. He tries to backhand it, and he misses it. That's going to be an error. Good job. Walker did not strike out. He was able to get the wood on the leather. All right, we've got a base runner, a one-out base runner. And that brings up Yainer Diaz. Give him a shiner, Yainer. Here's the pitch. He goes after the first one. Outside and low. Man, those outside low pitches continue to be nothing more than stink bait. Stink bait for Yainer Diaz. He always goes after that stuff, right? Almost always. Here's the pitch. He taps that one up the middle. Might be a little trouble for 2. They get the lead runner. So Walker will be out at second base. Yainer gets on first. So a little fielder's choice there. 2 away. Yainer on first. The tapper up the middle. doing nothing more than giving the Cubs another out. That brings up Taylor Trammell. Taylor Trammell, the 9th batter in the lineup. He's only played a couple of games with the Astros now, maybe 3, after coming off of the IL. Here's the first pitch from Horton. Good take. Low fastball. One ball, no strikes. Here's the next pitch. Come on, Trammell. I want you to do well. I want you to succeed. That's in the dirt. Good take. Ball 2. Every single new guy the Astros bring in, whether they think it's just for a day to fill in, we're sending him back to the minors tomorrow. You have really high expectations for this guy. We think he's really going to fit in. I don't care who it is. I really want him to do well. Just do well. Here's the 0-2, or 2-0 rather. Now it's 2-1. Swing and a foul tip miss on that fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. Yiner on first base. Willard says, Willard's got a couple of comments. I'll get to it. Here's a pitch to Trammell. That's in there. 97 in the center of the plate. Doesn't get to be more of a strike than that. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on first. Come on, Trammell. You're a lefty. You're a current hope. Let's do it. In the dirt. Ball 3, full count. He's definitely making Horton pitch. The Astros are making him pitch. This next one will be his 30th pitch of the game, so he's had to pitch an average of at least 15 per inning so far. That's not a low amount. Here comes the next pitch. 3-2. Low, ball 4. All right, good at bat by Trammell. Gets the walk. Again, the Astros have runners on first and second, and since we have 2 outs, maybe it's time to score runs. Top of the lineup coming up. Jeremy Pena. Horton now has to face the top of the lineup with runners on base, so our number 1 guy comes to the plate. If that had been anyone else, Willard says, like the Dodgers, pitchers, Yankees, you think the umpire calls it a ball or strike? I agree that there's some bias there. The first pitch is in there for a strike to Jeremy Pena. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Pena is batting .381. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He fouls that one off. That was a stinker. 96-mile-per-hour stinker. There's definitely some bias sometimes, but you know what? I don't have time to worry about that or think about it. Twins beating the Tigers. Go Twins. Here comes the pitch to... Crowd is booing like crazy. Bases are loaded now for Isaac Paredes. Man, how nice would it be for him to put one in the Crawford boxes? I'd love to see myself a grand slam from Mr. Paredes. That'd be the first one I've witnessed from him. Pitching coach actually is out on the mound now for the Cubbies. Hey, man, what's going on with you? It's the second inning, we're trying to get out of this, not trying to give them runs. Unless you want to, slip them a pill and give them the runs. I mean, that's different. You want to go over to their dugout and infiltrate their Gatorade or something. That's a different kind of runs. Bases loaded with 33 pitches already delivered by Horton this game. He's averaging almost... This next pitch will be 17 per inning. The Astros making him work a little bit. Isaac Paredes. Isaac the ball. Paredes at the plate. First pitch on the way. In the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Bases are juiced. Hey, King Tuck. Welcome back to Houston. Fouled off on the first base side. 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Here we go, guys. Bases loaded in the second inning for the Astros. 2 outs, no balls, 2 strikes. Paredes at the plate. Horton's next pitch. Coming in just a moment. Here it is. In the dirt. Ball 1. Good take. One ball, 2 strikes. Mariners are tied with the Rangerettes. Battle of the losers. Here at the ball. Out into the left field crowd. That was kind of crazy. Paredes threw his bat and hit the ball foul. That's kind of crazy. You know, Altuve gave it a ride. It was deep enough for a Crawford box home run. If he can do that, and he put it way up high, too. I know Paredes can rip it out. Come on, man. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Left fielder. What a lucky, lucky break for the Cubs right there. What a lucky break. Paredes rips the ball into left field, and the left fielder dives forward and catches it just inches off the ground. That would have scored 2 runs. If he had missed it, it would have scored at least 3. It would have scored everybody. So close. The Cubs are so freaking lucky. 3 hits for the Astros. The Astros have had 5 runners on base in the first 2 innings. 2 in the first and 3 in the second. And they managed to squirm their way out of it without giving up any runs. Astros need to keep laying it on thick. Keep putting the pressure on Horton Hears a Who. Yeah, King Tuck, you're right. The 381 batting average by Pena is pretty insane. And yes, Ayush, an Isak homer would have been amazing. A grand slam would have been just perfect. And Crispy, I agree with you. We should have been able to do something. It has been pretty bad this year with bases loaded. Yeah, in the past, yeah, it hasn't been just this year. You're right. Past couple of years, it's been pretty sad. Well, I will say that Isak didn't waste it. He ripped the ball. He really did. He ripped it. Cubs just got extremely, extremely lucky with the location of that ball. That's all. Cubs are fortunate, Fred. That was a complete luck because that ball was ripped so hard and so fast. There were only a couple of seconds for him to react. If it had been anywhere else except right at him, he would not have been able to get it. Yeah, and if he didn't catch it, it would have gone to the wall. That would have been a bases clearing double, if not a triple, for the fast turtle. Jordan says, I thought for sure a hit. At least Tuck didn't rob Paredes. It should be 4-0 now. Yeah, at least 3-0. Right now it should be at least 3-0. But, you know, it's okay. Astros got this game. Justin Turner is at the plate. I haven't seen him in a while. Here's the pitch. In the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Walter at 29 pitches now. Here's the next one. He's 30th of the game. A little outside. So far, Walter averaging 14 pitches per inning. A little high, but not bad. That one was way outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. I need some hot coffee. I had a cold drink, and it's got me coughing a little bit. Bounce down to the third base side for strike 2. An 88 miles per hour cutter. Yeah, the commentators mentioned that. Oh, right up the middle. Backhanded by Altuve. He makes a play over to first base. What a play by Altuve. Holy cow, look at that. Now, that was what you call a pro-level play right there. That ball hit up the middle there, right past the glove. It actually looks like it touched the glove of Walter. Altuve was able to backhand it and fire it over to first base. Man, look at that. Altuve, you go, man. First pitch to Matt Shaw is a strike, a Swiffer. One away, nobody on. No balls, one strike. Here comes the toss. This is hit high in the air. Is that going to be playable? No, it goes back into the crowd. No balls, two strikes. Tommy wants swingy. He gets one, but that one goes off into the crowd on the right side. Count remains 0-2. I've got my hot water right here. I don't have to go get it. I can just pour my coffee without having to go anywheres. Here comes a 0-2. That is crushed to left field, but foul. 0-2 it remains. Yeah. Sergio, that would have dropped for no less than 2 RBIs, but more than likely 3. So you're right. Very disappointing, but that's baseball. Fouled off again. The count remains 0-2. Shaw just barely keeping the bat on the ball. Yeah, so Paredes got thrown out at home, and then he got robbed on that hit, man. He's got to be a little bothered by that. Chris says, my granddaughter's softball league, throwing your bat gets you kicked out of the game. Really? When you swing? By accident? Are you serious? Like if you swing at the ball and you throw your bat by accident, you get kicked out of the game? That seems a little unfair. Another foul ball. The count remains 0-2. Here's the pitch to Shaw. Strike 3. That's right. Nice Swiffer. Boom. Nice Swiffer. Tommy likey. Tommy wants swingy. Ian Happ is back at the plate. Takes that first pitch a little inside for ball 1. Why did my Hunter Brown picture come up on the screen? I don't understand. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Just a little outside. Ball 2. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Fouled back, right in the zone. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jordan is taking credit for Pena's success because he was so-so until I said he'd do better. If his bat wasn't below his shoulder when going into the swing, he owes me 10% rather than the bra. I hope you get your 10%. I somehow doubt it, but I hope you get it. Here's the 2-1 pitch, rather. High and outside. After a long battle with lots of foul balls and strikes, Walter's now throwing some balls to Ian Happ. I know you got to throw each batter a little different. Here's the 3-1. That's in the bottom right of the zone, and a swing and a miss. Full count. Nice cutter. 1 out. No, I'm sorry. 2 outs. 2 outs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the next toss. Hey, check swing on low on the inside. Called strike 3. Oh, yeah, baby. Walter gets another K. Tommy likey. Tommy wants swingy. Tommy gets swingy. Tommy wants swingy. Tommy gets swingy. All right. Walter having a good game, guys. 1 hit, a few strikeouts, 42 pitches right now. Basically about 14 per inning on average. Not bad, not bad. A little high, but you know, for somebody who probably isn't expected to go through more than 5 or 6 innings, it's not bad. It's not bad. Oh, it's not. Oh yeah, I need to add more hot water to my coffee here. I'm neglecting myself by not pouring the hot water in. One of my friends that I made from Sweden through my other YouTube channel, her and her boyfriend are going to be coming by to visit me here at the house later on, sometime after lunch. They're taking a little cross-country drive through Japan, and they're going to be coming through Hiroshima in a few hours later this afternoon. Well, I say later this afternoon. In the early afternoon. Right now it's morning here. It's about 5 minutes to 10 in the morning. I think it's hilarious that the Methodist Church is doing Yoga Day. Yoga is connected to a spiritual belief that has nothing to do with Christianity, so I find it kind of funny. But, you know, whatever. Altuve's at the plate, baby. He had an almost home run earlier. Let's see if he can jack one out now. Come on, Altuve. Show everybody how it's done. You own this place. This is your house. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, another ball. 2-1. I mean, 2-0. I think I made this floor a little too easy for the chair to move. It rolls around too easy now. Before it was too difficult. Right in there for strike one, 95 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike on Altuve. Here's the next pitch. High and outside, but it gets inside the corner for strike 2. 2-2. Altuve waiting for his pitch. Here it comes. In the dirt. Man, that was a terrible pitch. Altuve's like, are you all right, dude? You see him checking on him? He was immediately like, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? He's such a nice guy. Screw all those people that give Altuve grief. He's such a nice guy. As soon as the ball bounces in the dirt and goes up off the catcher, he's immediately like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? What a great guy. Love him. Here's the 3-2. In the dirt, ball 4. All right, Altuve with the leadoff walk. Altuve not having a bad night, even though he flew out. It was a deep hit. That brings up Cam Smith. So Cam Smith has an opportunity at the plate with no outs. The guy on base to do something for the Astros. Here comes the pitch from Horton goes to first base, but Altuve is back. The crowd boos. Yeah, Sergio Walter is pitching a good game so far. Absolutely. Yeah, Crispy, we need somebody to crush the ball. Here's the pitch. Cam Smith, opposite field foul ball. Strike 1. Well, I understand what you're saying, Crispy, about the Astros needing to get a home run because the singles aren't doing us much good. But actually, the singles are doing us a lot of good. It's just that we're not getting the extra hit at the right time. Another opposite field smack by Cam Smith. Foul ball. Strike 2. 0-2, Altuve on first with no outs. Smith did walk his last at bat. See if he can get a nice hit here and move Altuve around. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Horton. Fouled off again behind the plate. Count remains 0-2. Yeah, you're right, Tuck. Astros hitting the Cubs. Cubs getting a little lucky on both ends, defense and offense, but mostly defense. They haven't really done anything on offense other than get that lucky triple. Good take, low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Locked on Phillies. Here comes a 1-2 to Cam. But Cram can't. Cram. I love calling him Cram. Cram. He cranks it out into the left field area. They brought it in really quick, but Altuve read it right. He was there. Runners on first and second, guys. Once again, the Astros have base runners, this time with nobody out. And Mr. Baseball at the plate, who has a single today already. They almost hit him on the inside. Ball 1. 39 people following right now and only 27 likes. Hook me up with some likes. Let's push that over 30. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Myers. In the dirt and outside. Horton having a little bit of control issues now. The Swiffer not finding its mark. 2 balls and no strikes. Jordan, I agree with you 1,000%. Altuve's the classiest guy in baseball. Booing him is classless. I agree. Here's the pitch. That is in the lower outside corner for a strike. The fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 strike to Jake the Snake. Jake the Rake. Here comes the 2-1. In the dirt. 3 balls and 1 strike. Are we going to have bases loaded for Victor Caratini? Here's the 3-1. In the dirt, ball 4. How about that? Myers walks. We've got loaded bases. I wonder if they're going to have a little meeting on the mound with Horton Here's a Who. Horton Here's a what? Yeah, they're going to have a... Yeah, the pitching's... The Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs have a meeting on the mound. Let's stop the poll right there and take a look at it. This is a good opportunity. 54% thinks that, or 54% of you think that Tucker will have no impact on the game today. Moderate, 25%, and 20%, the biggest factor. 24 votes. Excellent, said the chicken. Victor Caratini, the Batman, is at the plate. Let's see what the Batman can do. Here's the first pitch. A little low, ball 1. Good call by the ump. The ball completely below the zone there. It was close. Caratini's going to ask for a little bit of time. I guess the clock is moving a little too fast for him right now. Bases loaded. Caratini batting lefty. Here's the pitch from Horton. Low and inside. Ball 2. There we go. Walk in or run, man. Just start walking them in. Here's a quiz question for you guys, or an opinion question. How many guys would he have to walk in before getting pulled? Oh, I should have let that one go. It was way below the zone. That would have been ball 3. Swing and a miss. Altuve on third. Cam Smith on second. And Myers on first. Minor Diaz with a 3-run shot. It's 4-0 here in the third inning. Yiner Diaz breaks it open for the Astros. They were threatening for 3 straight innings to really lay the hurt on Horton Here's a Who. Horton Here's a homer. He was just a couple of batters away from having himself another grand slam this year. How about that? But I'll take that. 4-0 Astros here in the third. Trammell hits one up the middle, and the very first pitch almost had himself a hit. Man, he's fast. He got down the line, but he was thrown out at first base. So that's it for the Astros in the third inning, but not before Yainer Diaz puts a shiner on the Cubs. Yainer with the shiner. He punches the Cubs right in the eye. Yainer puts some dirt in the eye of the Cubs, and Cade Horton, 3 innings in, 5 hits for the Astros and 4 runs. That's what I'm talking about. Own this team. Beat this team down. I want this series even more than I wanted the Phillies series. Now, I don't like the Phillies. I think that a lot of their fans are insufferable, and any Astros fan knows that. Any of you guys, you guys know that the Phillies fans are unbearable. But the Cubs, they've got a huge franchise. And they're one of those franchises that have a lot of bandwagon fans. Just like the Dodgers, just like the Yankees. And so, of course, they are naturally insufferable simply because of that. My sister is one of those fans. So whenever the Astros crush the Cubs, it's extra satisfying. Jordan says 4-0 better than 1-0. I agree. I couldn't agree more. 4-0 is nice, much nicer than 1-0. Jordan says, I'm not a troller, but if I were, the Cubs would be my #1 target because of the way their fans acted when we had that bad hurricane. I'm telling you, man, forget the Cubs and their fans. Forget them. I do like Suzuki Seiya only because he comes from Hiroshima. You know, he's got I've got a soft spot in my heart for Seiya because he's a local guy here in Hiroshima. But I still want him to lose like crazy when he plays the Astros. I don't care what he does otherwise. Next pitch on the way. This is to Kyle Tucker, actually. Tucker's back at the plate. He fouls the first pitch off for strike 1. Walter won the first battle against Tucker with a fly ball. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This is grounded to the third base side. Altuve gets it. Fires over to first, no problem. Kyle Tucker is retired by Altuve. 0 for 2 today so far. Kyle Tucker, a non-factor in this game. Crispy says that's the homer I was talking about. Yeah, man. But, you know, even a decent hit would have scored us some runs. But you're right. Having the homer definitely helps, especially when you got runners on base like that. A couple of runners on base. Seiya Suzuki is at the plate. I keep wanting to say Suzuki Seiya because, you know, his family name is Suzuki. In Japan, we say it backwards. They say it backwards, so I'm used to that now. This is hit up the middle. It's going to drop for a base hit. So Seiya gets a single on a 1-0 pitch. 1 away, 1 runner on first. Seiya with the second hit of the game for the Curbs. The Curbs. Let's curb the Curbs. Yes, Juan. And Juan, you're right about Cam Smith. He does look very relaxed. He's an athletic guy. He looks like a natural out there in right field. I know it's not his natural position. It's not the one he normally plays, but I can't imagine him being anywhere else. Here comes the first pitch to Dan. Too late at first base. It was a nice try, but Dansby's pretty fast. Paredes got it over to second for the first out. Altuve had no chance, really, to get him at first base. 2 outs. Runner remains on first base. Tuck, you're right. Joking around about a natural disaster like that, especially in such droves, such numbers, is totally unacceptable. I agree with you. Classless, just like the people booing Altuve and calling him names and saying such rude things. Next pitch is high and inside to Mr. Pete Crow Armstrong. 0 for 1 today. And here's the 1-0 pitch with 2 outs. Runner on first. Walter's delivery on the way. The Swiffer? Yeah, the Swiffer just kept swiffing. Went way outside for ball 1. I'm really looking forward to having visitors today. I haven't had visitors in God knows how long. 2 balls, no strikes to Armstrong. Here comes the pitch. Another Swiffer, but this one identical to the last. Way outside, missing the mark by a substantial sum. 3 balls and no strikes. Come on now, don't lose him here. Let's get a strike. Here's the pitch. Right in there, 90 miles an hour on the stinker. 3 balls and 1 strike. My trolling says Jordan would be the Cubs, Dodgers, Yankees, Brewers, and Rangers. Here's the next pitch. In there, fouled back, 88-mile-per-hour cutter. There we go, full count. With 2 outs and runner on first. Here in the top of the 4th. Astros with a current 4-0 lead after lighting up Mr. Horton in the bottom of the 3rd. Here comes the full count pitch to Armstrong with Jeremy Pena coming to the plate. King Tuck says, I do run well. For those of you listening and don't see the live chat, one of our subscribers goes by King Tuck. But Fred says, King Tuck is at least running well. And then in the chat, King Tuck says, I do run well. That's funny. Jordan says, we almost had Suzuki. Wouldn't mind Hap. Man, I'd love to have Suzuki. Can you imagine we having another guy on the team who can hit home runs? That'd be awesome. And I just like having a Japanese player on the team too. You know, I feel like the Astros thing has been like to go all in on Spanish. We have an American and Spanish players, and that's kind of it. Or Hispanic, I guess you could say, Hispanic players. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like it's kind of like an exclusive club. Yusei came in for a little while, and then he was gone. I wish he could have stayed. I liked Yusei. He fit well with the Astros pitching staff and the pitching coaches. But man, how cool would it be to have Suzuki Seiya? That'd be right up my alley. Coming from Hiroshima to Houston, man, that would be awesome. I'd love that. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Pena, way outside, ball 1. The count is even. The Stankies are beating the A's 3-0 at the end of the 7th. All right. This is chopped to the second base, or shortstop rather, and he throws him out for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down for the Astros. Isaac Paredes comes to the plate with another opportunity here. So Isaac has come very close to scoring runs a couple of times. Let's see if he can work it out this time. Here's the pitch. It's very similar to his first hit. Just like a complete copy of his first hit. Ripped down the line, off the wall. It's really funny that they give so much. Look how much room they gave him over there. They learned absolutely nothing from the last at bat. Paredes is a puller. And the third baseman is playing like 10 feet off the line. What? I don't want to call him a fool, but that's foolish. Tapped on the first base side for strike 1 by Altuve. Man, why are they playing him like 10 or 12 feet off the line? Do they absolutely have no idea who Paredes is? Hey, fine. Keep playing him like that the whole game. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Altuve. He fouls this one off, a chopper down the third baseline. Horton is still in the game, by the way, pitching for the Cubs. 1 out. No balls. 2 strikes to Altuve. Altuve with a walk and a deep fly out all the way to the wall in left center field today. Here comes the next pitch. Hey, into center field. Is it going to be down? Yes. Altuve's got himself a line drive single. Paredes barely able to get in. The fast turtle barely able to get into second base. Runners on first and second, guys. Once again, the Astros have base runners every freaking inning. How long are they going to keep Horton in this game? Cam Smith is at the plate with 1 out, 2 runners on. How long are they going to keep Horton in this game? You have to wonder. Maybe if they score right here, they'll pull him out. Here's the first pitch to Cam. Pitch! Are you kidding me? 3-run shot. 3-run shot. I was so shocked that they left Horton in the game because the Astros have just been owning him. Runs. Cam, crank it up. Smith. Very first pitch. As soon as it came off the bat, it was gone. I knew it was gone as soon as he hit it. Horton is still in the game. Myers is at the plate. And he fouls it off. All right. I'm sorry. That was just hilarious. So hilarious. Freaking awesome. Cam Smith all the way up on the railroad tracks. He crushed the very first pitch. Here's the next pitch to Myers in the dirt inside. Ball 1. 1-1 with 1 out. Nobody on. Astros destroying the Cubs in the 4th inning, 7-0. Here's the next pitch to Myers, inside and low, but swing and a miss. Wow. What a game. This game has given me so much joy. Low and outside, just barely misses the strike zone. Oh, he did call it a strike. A delayed call by the umpire. He swung so hard, his helmet almost came off. All right. Victor Caratini is back at the plate with 2 outs, nobody on. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Here comes the next pitch. That's in the low part of the zone for strike 1. 1-1 to Caratini. Yes, Fred, you're right. Cam Smith trade. Cub fans currently cussing out the Cubs management. They gotta be. They gotta be. Right now, Kyle Tucker's 0 for 2. The Cubs have no runs on the board. Cam Smith has a 3-run blast. You gotta love it. 2-1 to Caratini. This is hit out into center field, actually. Thought that was right field. Camera angle's off. Armstrong takes it in for out number 3. Finally, the end of the 4th. Horton here's another homer. 7-0. Astros with 8 hits and 7 runs on the curbs. 2 hits for the Cubs. How about that? Go Stros. Go Stros. Now think about this, guys. Are not the Cubs a better team than the Phillies? Isn't that supposed to be true? The Astros struggled to get runs against the Phillies. The Phillies worked really hard. Of course, they had great pitchers. Horton is not a bad pitcher. He's a good pitcher. But the Astros are just completely destroying him. Every single inning. The first, the second, the third, the fourth. Yes, the Astros didn't score in the first or the second, but they had opportunities. The Cubs got lucky, and the Astros made some bad decisions. But they should have scored, and they could have. And I was wondering when. It just seemed inevitable that they were going to score, and of course it was. But now I'm wondering why they didn't pull him out earlier, or at least come out and talk to him again. It's okay. Let them keep making these boo-boos. Let them keep making these mistakes. I don't care. The Cubs can keep making as many management mistakes as they wish. It's fine for me. 48 people following the live stream. Thank you for being here right now. Please like that live stream. Hook me up. And I will give you my unconditional gratitude. Right over the net. Literally just 2 or 3 feet right over the net. Strike one. Carson Kelly's 0 for 1 today. Rookie of the Year chances for Cam Smith. Fred, they are going up every day, that's for sure. Yes, Juan, you're right. Like I said, the Phillies had good pitchers on the mound. But the Cubs are supposed to be one of the elite teams, right? Not looking like it right now, but it's making the Astros value go up, up, up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Low and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. To Carson Kelly. Under it, no problem. Out number 1. That brings up Nico Horner. King Tuck says Rookie of the Year looks like Jake Mazeroski. It's too early to say. I mean, we've got guys who are competing for Rookie of the Year, but it's too early to say who's going to get it. That first pitch is a nice sweeper, nice swiffer in there for strike 1. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Walter. He's a slower turtle than Paredes. He barely... Man, has he gained weight? Has Justin Turner always been that big and slow? I don't know. I don't know him that well, but I didn't think he was that big and slow. He's become like a dad bod guy. He rumbles into second base barely. Runner on second with 1 out. That brings up Matt Shaw. Here comes the first pitch from Walter. High and inside. The Swiffer misses the mark for ball 1. Come on now, Walter. Shut this down. Shut this down. Get through 5. And then hopefully 1 more inning. If he can get through 6, that would be just perfect. Here comes the next pitch. Shaw takes that. High in the zone for strike 1. An 88-mile-per-hour cutter. 1-1. Yeah, that's right. They got more runs. Heck, they have about the same amount in 1 inning, right? As they did in every single game combined against the Phillies. A little outside of the zone there. Chris Flexen is in the bullpen for the Cubs. Warming up. 2 balls, 1 strike for Matt Shaw. Here's the pitch from Walter. Little low and inside. The Swiffer missing the mark. 3 balls and 1 strike. Walter losing a little bit of control now for whatever reason. I think the pitching coach should come out and have a little chat with him, barring the result of this pitch. 3 balls, 1 strike with runner on second. Here's the toss. It floats into the crowd. Full count. Sergio says the Astros and the Cubs have identical records at 48 and 33. That's about to change. That's right. Astros going to pass up the Curbs. There has to be some regrets in that trade. Yeah, Travis. Everybody's going to be talking about that now. Even after just game 1, they're going to be talking about that. Groaning and whining and groaning. It's okay. It's all good. Walter takes a little moment off the mound. He steps off the rubber. Got to reset the pitch clock. 1 disengagement. 1 disengagement for Walter. I need some fresh coffee. Now the batter takes a timeout. That'll reset the clock again. 10:30 here in Japan. 10:30 in the morning. Ohayou gozaimasu from Hiroshima. Here's the full count pitch to Matt Shaw. Hit hard to right field. Cam is back all the way to the wall. He makes a little leaping catch. Good play by Cam Smith to get there and make that. Turner is able to tag and go to third. It was so deep out there in right field. Luckily, Cam was so fast, he was able to get back there no problem and grab it. Opposite field hit by Matt Shaw. Nice grab by Cam Smith. Two outs, runner on third. Ian Happ now at the plate. What's happening? First pitch is just barely out of the zone on the inside. Ball one. 44 people following my live stream right now and 35 likes. I appreciate you liking the live stream. And if you like the STROS, subscribe. I've only picked up one subscriber this whole time. I'm kind of surprised about that. Do we have a lot of Cubs fans lurking? I can't imagine that we do, since the score is 7-1. Diaz comes out to the mound to have a little chat with Walter after 2 straight balls. 2 outs, 2 balls, no strikes. Runner on third. Just a quick meeting on the mound, nothing too much. Diaz headed back to the plate. Just picked up another subscriber. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I would like to see the channel grow, but not just for my sake, but for the sake of the Astros community on YouTube. As far as over to first, out number 3. How about that? Golden glove play there by Paredes to get that rocket. Walter gets out of the inning, but he does give up a solo home run. 7-1. No shutout for Walter, unfortunately. But you can't complain. Through 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Walter is doing his job against the Chicago Cubs. Walter is now officially finished with 5 innings of ball. Good job, Walter. You're freaking awesome today. 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. We're on break. Bottom of the 5th coming up in just a moment with Christian Walker at the plate. Go Stros. All right, guys, I am back. Chris Flexen is on the mound for the Cubs. Oh, my gosh. Before I can even get back into my seat and get the preview up. Christian Walker, he does a check swing on the very first pitch. And it just softly lines over to the first baseman who catches it for the first out. Christian Walker goes down on the very first pitch on a literal half swing, check swing. It wasn't a foul, but he. Never mind. Let's move forward. Yainer Diaz is at the plate. His last at bat was pretty good. 3-run homer. That's strike one. Here comes the next pitch from Flexen. Low and outside. Ball one. The count is even. I guess I can change the pitcher name on the screen. Chris Flexen. Let's see if he's flexing today. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. Ball two. 2-1. Hey, 41 likes. We're over 40. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Here comes the next pitch. Fouled off by Yainer. If Yainer hits that opposite field home run, I'm going to laugh. Man, he got around on it and put it into the Crawford boxes earlier. I was shocked about that. He usually goes opposite field, but man, he was on it. A single for Diaz. Having a great game so far, man. 1 out, 1 runner on. It's not just Horton. Astros just owning the Cubs pitching staff right now. 1 runner on. 9 hits for the STROS today in just 4 1/3 inning. That brings up Trammell. Still waiting for Trammell to do something. He did walk his last at bat. I want him to crush that ball. I really want to see Trammell just break out, man. How awesome would it be with him out in left field, guys? You mentioned a bookend, Sergio. Can you imagine if Trammell just exploded? He could be that bookend. He's fast. Ball two, good take. If Trammell broke it open at the plate, I would want him to permanently stay in left field. Just stay in left field. He's really fast. If he could hit the ball, didn't hit it there, swing and a miss. 93 mile per hour fastball on the outside edge. 2 balls and 1 strike. But Taylor Trammell is a left-handed batter. If he could come along and contribute at the plate, and then Jordan comes back, can you imagine? We'd have a really good lineup, I think. Here's the pitch. A little low and outside, ball 3. Good take. Crispy says Walker gets so mad at himself. I can understand why he would, because he's performing rather poorly. But, of course, anger doesn't help. Little thrower to first base. Diaz is back, no problem. 3 balls and 1 strike to Trammell with 1 out. Here comes the next pitch. Grounded over way past the bag before that throw ever gets over there. Useless for the shortstop to throw her to first base. I'm telling you, man, Trammell is fast. Really fast. I'd love to see him and Pena in a race. And Cam Smith. I'd like to see those 3 guys have a race. Not quite sure what's going on. But Pena is out of the game, guys. Dubon is in for Pena. He got hit by a pitch earlier, so that might have something to do with it. We're waiting to hear what's going on. But Doobie is at the plate. Here comes the pitch. He grounds this one to the shortstop. Should be an easy play. It is, and that's out number 3. Dubon grounds out on the very first pitch. So Pena is out of the game. My guess is that they will just put Dubon right on shortstop. No reason to move anybody else around. Jose Altuve is on second base right now. and Trammell's in left field. I would imagine that those are not going to change. Nine hits for the Astros, four hits for the Curbs. 7-1. Astros are up. We are finished with 5 innings of ball, going into the top of the 6th. Kyle Tucker due up. He's 0 for 2 today. Let's take a quick look at the chat, see what's going on. Sergio says, I'd love to have Kyle Tucker back next year in right field, move Cam Center over to left field, and return Jose Altuve to his natural second base. I think that's impossible. That's impossible. Because the amount of money that they'd have to pay to get him back. I know that you said there's very little chance that will happen. I think it's dreaming. But even then, I don't. Let's say that the Astros had the opportunity, because if they could pay him as much as required, okay? If they could pay him as much as required to get him to come back, I still would not want them to do that. It's not worth it to me. He's not worth that much money to bring him back. We don't need him that bad. And I do disagree with you about moving Cam Smith over to left field. Keep him in right field. He's fast and he's got a strong arm. Kyle Tucker hits the very first pitch out into right field. Kyle Tucker hits it right to Cam Smith, out number 1. The very first pitch, line drive. 3 up and 3 down for Kyle Tucker. 3 at bats, 3 outs. 2 fly outs and a ground out. Caleb Ort is warming up in the bullpen for the Strizos. First pitch to Suzuki is in the bottom of the zone for strike 1. He's got himself a single today, 1 for 2. Here's the pitch. Low and inside. Ball 1, 1-1. King Tuck says Walker should be kicking himself in the nuts after every bat. Really? Wow, Suzuki rips one into left field just past Paredes. He's got himself another single. 2 for 3 is Suzuki today. Suzuki showing Kyle Tucker how to hit. Sergio says there's definitely a chance. There's always a chance. I just think it's so minuscule. It's not even worth thinking about, really. And I don't want Tucker back because we can't afford it. The amount of money it would take to get him back is not worth it. That's what I'm saying. If Tucker were able to come back for an amount that the Astros, that would be a good amount that wouldn't destroy our budget, then yes, I'd love to have him back. This is hit out in the left field. Trammell's underneath it, grabs it at the warning track. Suzuki Say goes back to first base, and that's 2 away as Dansby Swanson flies out to the warning track. Pete Crow Armstrong is now due up at the plate. King Tuck says, I would trade Yordan for Tucker for sure. Are you serious? There's no way. If Yordan can stay healthy, then there's no way. Tapped foul by Armstrong. That's strike 1. Evans says Pena signed with Scott Barras. He's probably not coming back. Well, you never know, but we don't have to worry about that for a little while at least. I'd say 1 season we don't have to worry about it this season. The Swiffer is right in there for strike number 2. Walter is up on the count. 0-2 against Armstrong 84 pitches now for Walter. Here comes the 85th. He steps off the rubber. Seiya is on first base. 2 outs. 0-2 is the count. Here comes Walter's pitch. Through 6 innings, 4 hits and 1 run for Brandon Walter. How do you like that? You know what we say about that? Tommy likey. Tommy wants swingy. Well, what Tommy likey? Tommy Getty. Good 6 innings of ball for Brandon Walter. What an excellent showing against the Cubs. We're looking really good at not only winning the series, but a potential sweep of the Cubs. But we have an excellent chance of taking this series at the minimal. At the minimal. Sergio says, if Jordan could appear to be healthy for a decent amount of time, I would deal him to see what I can get in return. His future will be injury prone. I'm not going to take a negative stance like that. Jordan has had some issues with injury, but the appearance of his health has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with the Astros staff. For any of you who follow the Astros closely, you know that the Astros management and the Astros staff aren't what you would call transparent and open and sincere when it comes to sharing information about player injuries and condition. So it's not on Jordan to let people know what's going on. You know, it's up to the team doctors and the Astros management to keep us up to date on that stuff. And they are notoriously infamous for being among the worst teams in baseball for being opaque. If you don't know what opaque means, it's the opposite of transparent. And so because of that, there are problems. Jordan played for too long with injuries, basically. And that wasn't on him. But I wouldn't say that Jordan is injury prone. There are a lot of big guys like him that have similar issues. You're going to have similar issues like that. But Kyle Tucker also has spent a lot of time out of games because of injury with the Astros and with the Cubs. This is hit way up into left field. Could have been a home run. Isaac Paredes misses a homer by about 12 feet. He crushed it out to left field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Paredes trying to get those RBIs. He's trying to get that run, man. Give him credit. Paredes really trying to get those runs in. He lines that one out to left field. He continues to rip the ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Paredes just constantly coming so close this game. This whole game, Paredes has been like this close to scoring runs. It seems every time he comes to the plate, he's this close to getting there, and he just doesn't. Let's see if he can do it this time. This one's way up high. This is the first time he's going to be put out easily. Shortstop puts it away for out number 1. 1 away for Flexen and the Curbs here in the bottom of the 6th. Jose Altuve at the plate. Altuve's batting average against Flexen is just so historically, but let's see if we can turn it around right here. He hits this one into right field. Going to be playable by the right fielder, Kyle Tucker. Put away for out number 2. Sergio, you're right. Big contracts are an inevitable reality for the best players. And that's what I was talking about earlier. That's why I say that the base salary for baseball players had nothing to do with what I was talking about. Because I'm talking about players who actually have shown that they have value and they have some room to negotiate and make millions of dollars per year. Those guys are the ones I was talking about. Cam Smith is at the plate. First pitch was a strike. The second one is in the dirt for ball 1. Count is even, 1-1. Cam with the big home run earlier. Crushed it on the very first pitch. Here comes the 1-1 pitch with 2 outs, nobody on. A little high. Could have been a strike, but it called a ball. It was right up there in the corner of the zone. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. In the dirt. Good take. 3-1. Chris says he's good, but he's not a phenom. Are you talking about Pena? Hey, Mark. Welcome back. Good to have you here. Here's the pitch. 3-1. Opposite field. Or rather, opposite field. Foul behind the plate, rather. As soon as he hit it, it looked like it was a line to opposite field. It was a foul back. Man. Camera trickery. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Either way, it's a 3-2 count with 2 outs. Here comes the pitch from Flexen. Cam takes it for ball 4. Way up high. Cam Smith, can you believe that? 3 for 3 and on base 4 times today. Good old Cam Smith getting her done. Getting her did. Mr. Baseball comes to the plate. Another opportunity for the Astros to get some runs. Every single inning we have opportunities. First pitch to Myers is below the zone for ball 1. Now we got 2 pitchers warming up. Nick Hernandez and Caleb Ort. I'm not so sure how I feel about Hernandez coming in right now, but you never know. We'll see. Myers fouls that one off. Low and inside. Strike 1. The count is even. Yes, Fred, you're right. Incredible pitching by all of the Astros pitcher replacements. They're doing the best. Yes, the Astros did mess up on the Jordan injury. They always mess up, it seems, on the injury reports. They're not transparent at all. Everybody knows it. All of the Astros podcasts talk about it. It's all in the news. You know, they have to be aware that fans know that they're not open and transparent. They have to be aware of that. Why they don't make any effort over to first base. Cam is back, no problem. 2 balls and 1 strike to Myers with 2 outs. Crispy says, is Pena okay? We don't know yet. We're waiting to hear. He got hit kind of in the back with a ball. It away. Not a bad little ride by Myers, but it comes up a little short. 7-1 Astros at the end of 6. 9 hits to 4 hits. The Curbs down 7-1. Top of the 7th coming up in just a moment. Who's going to be pitching for the Astros? Is it going to be Hernandez or is it going to be Ort? I'm going to say Ort. I don't know. Maybe they were thinking if we can get some more runs, they will bring in Hernandez and give him some time on the mound. I mean, I know we're up by 6, but I think it's a little early to be bringing in Hernandez in the 7th inning. I think maybe we can wait. I'd rather see Ort on the mound right now than Hernandez. Still out. The jury is still out on Hernandez right now. Evan says, same as my work, opaque. It's unfortunate. Alex says, who would you like for the Astros to get right now? I'll like one more starting pitcher and a good defensive outfielder. Well, you know, it's hard to say right now, Alex, because I would absolutely love for us to have a healthy, strong starting pitcher for our rotation. I know that we have two strong guys, but when we're thinking about postseason, you know, I would prefer for us to have three dependable guys. And I'm not saying that Walter or the other guys, Gordon or any of the others, are not dependable. It's just that they're not tested and proven yet. I would love to have a tested and proven guy in the rotation. Ort is on the mound for the Astros. First pitch is low and outside for ball one. Caleb Ort. I know I've got your picture in there somewhere, Mr. Ort. There we go. Easy change. Carson Kelly at the plate. Here's the pitch. That was a little inside. Ort was lucky to get that call. 1-1. Sergio says no team is transparent. Well, that's an exaggeration. I know that. What do you mean? I mean, it's nobody can be 100% transparent, and nobody should be. That's an extreme statement that I don't mean. What I mean is every team should have a certain degree of transparency. That's what I'm saying. And the Astros do not have anywhere near that degree of transparency. Fouled off. 1-2 is the count. What I'm saying is that the Astros' level of transparency is among the worst in the MLB, and everybody knows it. I'm not saying that other teams lack transparency or don't have issues, but this is a hit into opposite field. Carson Kelly on base with no outs in the top of the seventh. Saying that no team is transparent is like saying nobody's perfect. Of course nobody's perfect, but it doesn't mean that everybody is bad. Or there are some people that are really, really good and some people that are really not good at all. And the Astros are not good at all when it comes to transparency. It's a degree. It's not all or nothing. It's a degree. Next pitch to Horner is low for ball one. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's high. Just barely misses the zone. 2-0. Horner did hit a home run earlier, his last at bat. He's got the only RBI, the only run batted in for the Curbs. Here comes the pitch. A little high, 99 miles an hour. 3-0. Ort falling behind in the count. Don't need to be putting runners on. One runner on, no outs. 3-0 is the count to Nick Horner. Here comes the next toss from Ort. That's in there, barely in the bottom of the zone for strike one. 3-1. Jordan says Tucker max $25 million a year pitcher to me without losing anything. Mark says I was listening, working on a project. Ball four, too low. Ort walks him. A 5-pitch walk. 4 pitches out of the zone. 1 pitch in the zone. Yiner comes out to have a little chit chat. He's like, hey, listen, we need you to pitch a little more like Walter and a little less like Montero. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. 2 runners on with no outs. Justin Turner will not be hitting. The Cubs have a pinch hitter coming in for Justin Turner. I think it's Michael Bush. a lefty. So Diaz was out on the mound having a little chit-chat with Caleb Wirt to let him know. Yep, Michael Busch. 2 runners on with no outs. Here's the first pitch. He hits this one right into the air on the very first play. Trammell comes in and puts it away for out number 1. No problem. Nice out there for Ort. And now Ort has faced the minimum of 3 batters, so he can be pulled out at any time if the Astros need. 2 runners on, 1 out. Matt Shaw is at the plate. Yes, we have a curb stomping. That's right, Jay. We're stomping the curbs. Here's the first pitch to Shaw. Right in there, 84 miles per hour. It looked like Shaw was going to swing, but he froze up. Nice Swiffer. To go back to answer the question earlier, I have to think about it, but I would definitely go with a starting rotation pitcher right in there. Beautiful Swiffer from Ort. 0-2. That was another one that froze him up. He's like, ah! 2 pitches in a row. It looked like Shaw wanted to swing, and he didn't pull the trigger, and he has suffered for it. 0-2 is the count. Here comes the 0-2. Okay, that was a good pitch by Wirt. He threw another Swiffer, this time off the plate. Shaw was determined to go after that one. Barely fouled it off. Count stays 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Way high. Just like a bunch of Canadians smoking weed. Way high. Orbit. Out in the crowd signing autographs? That's funny. In the dirt, ball 2. So the last pitch was way high. This one in the dirt. Ort going all around the zone trying to get that strikeout. Runner on first and second with 1 out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes baseman's head. But they might not give him an error, because it looked like Diaz might have beat that out. He might have beaten it out anyway. That could be the 3rd hit for Yainer Diaz. Taylor Trammell at the plate with 1 runner on and 2 outs. Come on, Trammell, do something. Outside, ball 1. Trammell has a walk and a fielder's choice today. He's yet to get a hit. But I'm really, really pulling for him to do something for the Astros. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, ball 2. His at-bats have not been bad. He's been patient. He's been able to walk. He has put the bat on the ball. He hasn't got a tremendous amount of good pitches in the zone. So it'd be nice to see him get a good hit. Here's the pitch. This one goes way up in the air. It might be playable in the third base territory for out number 3. So he fouls out there. Trammell goes down for out number 3. 7-3 at the end of 7. Astros winning 7-3 with 10 hits to the Curbs 3. Goodness gracious me. Jordan says, I hate TikTok too. Yeah, with a passion. I hate it with a passion. Ayush says, Welker is horrendous. He only strikes out. Striking out is a large part of what he does. I really would like for him to turn it around, but at what point, do you say we should be giving time to other people? But currently he is batting 7th. So if he's going to be in the lineup, you might as well put him 7th, 8th, or 9th. I mean, honestly, I think that finding a replacement at first base should not be too hard. Walker is able to make good plays. If the ball is thrown in the dirt to him, he can catch it. If it's a rocket off the bat, he can catch it. But if he has to think a little too much about the play and think quickly and react quickly, then he makes errors. And because his batting is much less than stellar, I think that we could benefit by getting somebody else. I think so. What I would like to see happen, if I could make a wish, I would like to see 3 things. Of course, if Walker could just suddenly boom, blow it up, that'd be great. But if you look at Walker's actual career, he's not that guy. He's not that guy that can just he's not, unless he has a breakout year. He's just an average player. Historically, he's just an average player. So I don't expect him to be really any better than what he is or what he has been. So I would like to see 3 things if I could. I'd like to see somebody like Trammell, left-handed batter, very fast. I would like to see somebody like that in left field just go crazy at the plate because he's really fast. He's a good outfielder. He's got a good arm. And if he could actually hit, how awesome would that be? That would be one thing. Bennett Sousa is on the mound for the Astros right now. First pitch is fouled off at the plate by Suzuki Seiya. Strike 1. That would be the first thing. The second thing that I would like to see is for the Astros to have somebody at first base who's a good first baseman, good with a glove, but who can hit the ball. The third thing I'd like to see is another starting pitcher in the rotation that we can depend on. And I'm not saying that we can't depend on Gordon or Walter or any of those guys. I'm just saying that they haven't proven themselves yet. Look at Fromber and look at Brown. Fromber Valdez, Hunter Brown. Those guys, without those 2 guys, we're kind of screwed. We have no chance to get through the playoffs without one of those. If one of those guys is not in the lineup, we have no chance. So we need a third guy that can be like a dependable guy. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Seiya Suzuki. Right in the bottom of the zone, and it is called a strike. Suzuki was waiting on it, man. Woo! Sorry, Mr. Suzuki. Suzuki-san. Sumimasen. Gomenasai. Sayonara. Yep. Suzuki just kind of froze up. Womp, womp. Strike 3. 1 away for Bennett Sousa. Oh, I haven't changed the picture on the screen. Sorry about that, Mr. Sousa. Swing and a miss. Dansby Swanson at the plate, facing Bennett Sousa. Sousa with a 1.57 ERA. And here I am with no coffee. I need some more coffee. Here comes the next pitch. Wow, foul tip into the glove. O. Diaz, strike 2. Jordan, Crispy says it always seems like Walker gets these perfect pitches to hit and he just swings at air. My issue with Walker is he doesn't chase so much, but the ones that he strikes out on are not so far out of the zone, or they're in the zone. They're around the zone. He doesn't have a bad eye, and he's not really a chaser. And the fact that he's good at that, but still strikes out a lot, is just unacceptable to me. This one's fouled off. The count remains 0-2. Jordan says, I think Walker's going to come around. Fouled off again. Count remains 0-2. Jordan says maybe Walker to the D-backs for a few weeks. Let him get some kind of groove and then come back. That's an interesting suggestion. Next pitch on the way. Just a little high and outside. Missed that strikeout by mere centimeters. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No need to hope, Ayush, just believe. Forget hope. Hope is meaningless. Useless. Strike 3! Tommy likey. Tommy wants swingy. You get it. Strike out for Sousa. 2 away. Pete Crow Armstrong comes to the plate. We are in the top of the 8th, guys. We're getting really close to this game being wrapped up. We just need to shut her down. Here's the pitch to Armstrong. Fouled back. Strike 1. Nice fastball there. Here's a pitch. Hit high in the air. Could be out number 3. It's over on the right side, but out of play. Walker can't get to it. Sergio says, last I checked, Cam Smith is actually leading the Astros in strikeouts with 68. There's no way Cam Smith is Sergio, even if that's true, it's useless data. It's useless data. Why is that? Look at the overall performance of Cam Smith versus Christian Walker. Look at the batting average. Look at the RBIs. Look at the hits. Look at the homers. Look at everything. Look at the overall body of work. Strike 3. Bennett Sousa with another strikeout to Pete Crow Armstrong. How about that? Bennett Sousa continuing to be good for the Astros. Started off a little rough, I think, in his very first outing, but after that has just really locked it down. We are finished with 8 innings of ball. Astros up 7-3 over the Curbs. Mauricio Dubon due up for the Astros in just a minute. Top of the batting order, followed by Isaac Paredes and Jose Altuve. Guys, once again, I think that a lot of my comments sometimes they're being taken as extreme, and there's more nuance in what I'm saying. Okay, when I say that a guy is striking out way too much, and it's really not good, and then the argument is, well, this other guy is striking out more than he is. You can't compare those two things, because you have to also look at batting average. You have to look at hits. You have to look at RBIs. You have to look at walks. You have to look at the defensive performance. You have to look at what they're contributing to the team. Walker, yes, Walker is striking out a lot. But when you look at the rest of his stats compared to Cam Smith, there's absolutely no comparison. I would rather have Cam Smith any day than Christian Walker. If you just say that Cam Smith has more strikeouts than Walker, ironically, they're showing highlights of Cam Smith's home run right now. And that's what I'm talking about. Cam Smith coming through again and again for the Astros, where Walker is not. And that's what I'm saying. Walker, I'm not just saying Walker's striking out, but he's still contributing. That's what I'm saying. He's not contributing significantly enough, and striking out is just part of that. Dubon comes to the plate, very first pitch swing, as usual. Flies out to Kyle Tucker. Dubon smiling and looking out there. He's like, oh, man, Tucker got me out. Isaac Paredes is at the plate with 1 out. 2 singles, a run, and an almost home run for Paredes today. That's in there. Flexen still in the game for the Curbs. No doubt they're trying to keep the rest of the bullpen fresh for the rest of this series. Here's the next pitch. Outside for ball 1. 1-1. Here's the next pitch. Little high and inside. Ball 2. 2-1. Good take by Paredes. Willard says, watch out for con artist and allegedly bad guy. Foxconn, is that who you're talking about? Foxconn? Or who are you talking about? This is hit really hard out to center field. It looks like it's going to be playable, though, and it is. 2 away. That brings up my hero, Jose Altuve. Willard says, Res Gold and Tej from Astros Discord. I don't have anything to do with the Discord, so it doesn't affect me. But if anybody comes into the chat and starts spamming stuff or saying rude things or trying to scam people, they will be kicked out. For sure, they will be kicked out. Here's the first pitch to Altuve. Below the zone with the curveball. Ball 1. This uniform that Altuve is wearing is the same one I've got on the way. Sure would be nice to get it today or for this Cubs game, Cubs series. Fouled off. I did wash my Astros, my Geaux Astros jersey, so I've got this on. 1-1 to Altuve with that foul ball. 2 outs, nobody on. Come on, Altuve, rip that ball. Here's a pitch in the dirt. Good take. 2 balls and 1 strike. Are they trying to sell us Tucker for pennies? Hey, I'd be more than happy to take Tucker for pennies. I'm just not willing to overpay for what you get, and that's why I used Apple off. The count remains 1-2. Sweep the curbs to the curb. Let's curb them. Curb the curbs. Crispy says, I'm going to thank you anyways. Well, then you're doubly welcome. Old Dog says Okert has been doing well. Yeah, he's been serving up that food that the kids don't want to eat, but they have to. This is hit out into right field. Cam Smith comes in, makes a nice play, and brings it into first base, but the runner gets back. Nice play. Out number 2. Good read and speed by Cam Smith there. He reacted quickly and got to it. Out number 2. 50 likes on the channel, or rather on the live play-by-play. Thank you so much, guys, for that. I appreciate it. 1 away from winning this game. Let's go, STROS. Michael Bush is gone. Matt Shaw's at the plate. First pitch in the top of the zone, strike 1. 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Sousa. Sergio says he's still pitching because the Cubs would rather save their bullpen. That's not the only reason, but that's the main reason. But that doesn't explain. I think that doesn't explain what the question was. I think that what he was wanting to know is why is a reliever pitching so many innings or so many pitches? How's he throwing so many pitches? That's because he's a starting pitcher. That's the answer I think he was looking for. Kelly was running on that pitch, but it was fouled off. The count is 1-2. We are 1 strike away from winning this game, 7-3. Jordan says, yay, Starlink. Yeah, I didn't think I would be getting Starlink ever in my life, but out here in the countryside, there's literally no option for internet. But Japan is an advanced country. In the dirt, goes to the backstop. Matt Shaw has a 2-2 count. The runner moves to third easily on that wild pitch. Sousa gets charged with a wild pitch. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. Double play? Can't get a double play when you got a runner on third or second. And we don't need a double play anyway. We already have 2 outs. That's hit out all the way out to the left field wall. That's going to score a run. 2 doubles for Matt Shaw. It's only the second hit allowed by Sousa this month. Espada comes out. He's going to pull Sousa. That's going to be it. They're going to bring in Josh Hader to get the final out. 7-4. The Curbs chip in a little bit more on the lead off of Sousa with 2 outs and a runner on second. Astros up by 3 in the 9th inning. They're not going to let Sousa stay in and try to close it out. They're going to go ahead and bring in Josh Hader. Jordan says I jinxed him. Hey, Butterfly, thank you for being here. Go Astros indeed. Evan says, oh my God, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Once again, just bad decisions. I don't really understand why they left Sousa in for another inning. He did a good job in the 8th. Could have brought in somebody else. I mean, it's not a total breakdown, but I do wonder why they left him in. Will Hader qualify for a save? Yes, he will. They just said in the broadcast, actually, Crispy, they answered your question. Otherwise, I wouldn't know for sure, but they just said in the broadcast that Hader would qualify for a save in this situation. Seven to 4 with 2 outs. Runner on second. Josh Hader coming in to replace Sousa. Think about how interesting this game has been, guys. Just to show you how good of a job Brandon Walter has done in this game. He gave up 1 run through 6 innings. The relievers have given up 3 runs. No, it is out of play for strike 1. Just a few rows up. 0-1. He is facing Happ, Ian Happ. Touring run has to be on deck for save. Here's the pitch. Just a little low and outside. Oh, he gave it to him. A delayed strike call by the umpire. I'm a little surprised. 0-2 is the count. 1 strike away. Come on. Servo does it in 3 pitches. Strike, strike, line outs. The Astros win this game, giving up 3 runs. Walter only gave up 1, a solo home run. But the relievers, a little shaky today, but the Astros still getting it done. Kicking the crap out of the Chicago Curbs, kicking them to the Curbs. 7-4 rather. And that's it. All right, how about that? Go Stros indeed. What a nice game. Jordan says, remember when the Astros were so bad defensively and cheap that they were recruiting fans during the games? Some very interesting things happen in sports, right? It makes me wish that I had been available like way back in the days when they had like scab players and people just coming in from off the streets and playing. Man, that would have been a dream for me to just walk in off the streets and play. That would have been so much fun. Can you imagine how great that would have been? But you know what time it is, guys? It's that time to do a little recap of this game. A little bit of a recap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The Astros have won 5 in a row right now. They won the game number 3 versus the Angels. They swept the Phillies in a 3-game series, and now we have game 1 at home versus the Cubs. 2 more games starting tomorrow. And right now, the Mariners and the Rangers are battling 5-5 in the top of the ninth. How about that? Wow, the Phillies are beating up the Braves 11-0 in the third inning. Wow, if that doesn't show you how good the Astros pitchers are, I don't know what does. What else is going on? Kansas City behind the Dodgers by 1 run in the ninth. Come on, Royals, beat them. Give them a Mac Royale with cheese. The Angels winning 5-2 over the Guardians. I'm sorry, over Washington in the fourth. Anything else? Anything else of note? The Stankies won 3-0, unfortunately. Whoa! The Orioles beat the Rays 22-8, guys. 22-8. The Orioles. Holy cow! I bet you Orioles Birdwatcher on YouTube is happy about that. Minnesota beat the Tigers 4-1. We are one step closer to taking the AL, my friends. One step closer. All right. Let's take a look at the scoring summary for this game, and then we'll do a quick preview of tomorrow's game, and then I'm out of here. First of all, let's take a look at the pitching this time. Brandon Walter, he gets the win today, his first win with the Astros. He's now 1-1. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks. Good, solid 6 innings of performance. That's what we need from guys like this. 6 innings of solid performance. Good freaking job. Even if Walter had given up 3 runs today, the Astros still would have won 7-6 if everything else had remained the same. Actually, they would have won 7. Yeah, that's right, 7-6. They would have won 7-6. Horton gets the loss, pitched 4 innings, gave up 8 hits and 7 runs. The Astros lit him up. Only had 2 strikeouts, gave up 4 walks. Hader gets the save. That's 22 for Josh Hader this season. 22 saves for Hader. Now let's take a look at the scoring summary. Astros jumped on it early. They had runners on base the first inning, the second inning, the third inning, the fourth inning, the fifth. They just kept putting runners on base. But finally, they broke it open in the third inning. Caratini hit a sacrifice fly to center field. Altuve tagged up and booked it home for the first run of the game. Diaz homered right after that. A 3-run shot, 377 feet, scoring Smith and Myers. 4-0 Astros. In the fourth, they did it again. Cam cranked it up. Cam Smith homered to left center field, almost 400 feet up on the railroad tracks. He crushed it on the very first pitch, scoring Paredes and Altuve. 7-0 Astros. How about that? In the top of the fifth, Horner homered a solo shot off of Walter. That would be the only earned run that Walter would give up the entire game. 7-1 Astros. In the top of the seventh, Shaw doubled to left, scoring Horner and Kelly. 7-3. Top of the ninth, Shaw doubled to left again, scoring Kelly. 7-4. So 3 of the runs scored today by the Cubs all came from Shaw's doubles. And both of those hits came off of the Astros relievers. So usually the Astros relievers are pretty locked down, but they were the shaky link today. Not Walter. Walter gave us 6 innings of great ball, but the Astros relievers started to give us a little something to worry about there, but the Astros locked it down. Hader came in, shut it down. Put out the fire, got the save. 7-4 is the final score. Now, real quick, let's take a look at tomorrow's game. Game number 2 versus the Curbs in Daikin Park at home in Houston. This game is going to be slightly earlier tomorrow. apparently the Astros have changed their pitcher for tomorrow. It's currently listed as undecided. Colin Ray is going to be on the mound for the Cubs. I think the Astros can light him up. He's 4-3 with a 4.42 ERA. Check this out. This is the important stuff. 73.1 innings pitched. 83 hits. 19 walks. That means out of 73 innings he's pitched, people have either gotten a hit or got on base more than 100 times. That's excellent. That is really, really good. Plus 13 home runs given up in those 73 innings. The Astros have a really good opportunity. And this is a right-handed pitcher, guys. Now think about this. I don't know why. But the Cubs have a very, in the words of one of my Chinese students that I had a long time ago, which I'll never forget, a very so-so pitcher. A very so-so pitcher. A right-hander is being put on the mound against the Astros tomorrow. What do you want to bet the Astros score at least as many runs tomorrow as they scored today? I'm telling you, it's highly possible, maybe even probable. And yet, the scoring predictor, the matchup predictor on ESPN says that the Cubs have a 52% chance of winning. That's ridiculous. I don't see it. I don't even know who's pitching for tomorrow because it's not been announced. I guess there's going to be a change. I don't know. But as it stands, if Colin Ray pitches, the Astros are going to light him up. I guarantee you. You mark my words, the Astros are going to light up the Cubs tomorrow. And then the good thing is that we have Framber Valdez on the mound for Game 3. The Astros could very well sweep this series. Absolutely, they could. Absolutely. Jay Paul says McCullers. I don't know. If he's healthy, if he's really, really, really healthy and really, truly ready to go, then yes, I would be more than happy to see him on the mound. That'd be great. But anyway, that's the preview for tomorrow's game. Let's go back and check the live stream right quick before we get out of here. Let's see here. Let's go. Oh, I missed a lot of comments here. Tuck says, remember when Altuve used to get base hits, even home runs? He still does. But he got a hit in this game. And he almost got a home run. The only reason he didn't is because it was just to the right of the Crawford boxes. He crushed that ball. And Altuve scored 2 runs. He got a walk. He got a hit. He scored 2 times. He tagged up and got home. He had a good game. Why are you hurting on Altuve? He had a good game. He didn't hit a 3-run homer this game, but he had a good game. He contributed and he scored runs. Let's see here. Yeah, Casey, it was a good game. It was a good game. There was a little bit of challenge. The Cubs tried to fight back, but they were just outmatched. Let's see here. 713 Shake says, Go Astros. Yes, thank you. Welcome into the chat. Thank you for being here. Phillies are mad, says Butterfly. Yeah, they probably are. Yes, how about them Astros? For sure. It would be nice to see the Dodgers lose. I always want to see the Dodgers lose. Jordan says, my coach cried when I quit playing. We moved across town, and he said he'd drive every day back and forth. He told me I was throwing my life away. First time I ever saw a grown man cry. I wish I'd had coaches like that. I was always surrounded by coaches who didn't have anything to do with, anything bigger than just playing locally with your mind in a box. So I could have used somebody with a big, broad, open mind like that. That would have been great for me. Yeah, Brendan, 31-13 at home. I think we got the best record right now at home. I think we're tied with the Dodgers for the best record at home. If the Dodgers lose a game at home, I don't know if they're at home today or not, but if they lose, then we'll have the best record at home. My morning is fine. If you're talking to me, Butterfly, my morning is fine. It is about 11:55 right now. It's almost lunchtime, and I got a friend coming over. Her and her boyfriend will be here shortly, and we're gonna visit for a little bit. Go get some lunch at the local cafe. Looking forward to that. Love you, Tucker. Good to see you, King Tuck. You're loving on yourself, King Tuck. All right. Sergio says the Phillies fans put together another crack in the Liberty Bell after the Cubs were swept. Yes. Let's destroy that. Let's destroy the Phillies' idea of liberty. King Tuck says, Presley, I'm glad you're gone. Yeah, I mean, when Presley was good, but, you know, even so, Presley wasn't as dependable as we needed somebody to be in that position. And at the end of his time with us, he was just proving himself to be too undependable. So I was sad to see him go, and I was really hoping that when he did come back, there was a short time, if you guys remember on my channel, where Presley came back in, and I was really expecting and hoping for him to have a comeback, and he wasn't able to do it, so that was unfortunate. But it is what it is. Yes, he let us down several times in situations where he really needed to be locked down. He let us down. I mean, it's not his fault, but that's the thing. You know, it's business, right? You gotta if your job is to come in and pitch a solid inning, and you can't do that consistently, then you can't do that job anymore. It's very simple. Let's see here. ESPN will never give a Houston team the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, most mainstream media won't. Astros' best record at home in the entire MLB. Yeah, I guess even if the Dodgers are not at home today and they win, then yes, the Astros will have. But if they are at home and they win, then they'll still be tied with the Dodgers. Astros only a game and a half behind the Detroit Tigers. How's that for big change, huh, guys? We're a game and a half back from being the best in the AL. How about that? Didn't see that coming, did you? Well, you say King Tuck says Altuve's my soft spot. No, he's not my soft spot. He's just got the soft spot in my heart. Best player ever. Not because he is the #1 best baseball player, but because he is the best all-around athlete and person. And I value the whole package. So, can't possibly imagine saying anything negative about Altuve. Butterfly says Dodgers not at home today. Okay, that's good. So even if they win, the Astros will have the best record at home. That's good. Yep. Sergio, thank you so much. Thank you for your help, everybody. Thank you for being here. And that's it for me today. That's it for the STROS. Thank you for the extra subs. I think we've picked up about 4 subs today, of a modest amount. If you have not subscribed and you like the STROS, I appreciate you doing so right now. I'm going to log off here and go get myself ready to meet some friends. And that's it today. We win game 1. After letting the Cubs come back a little bit, come crawling back a little bit, we just kick them back to the curb. We'll be back tomorrow an hour earlier than today for game 2. And that is going to be it. That is gonna be it. What in the world is going on there? There we go. Okay, wrong screen. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for the likes, the subs, all of the chats. And we'll see you tomorrow. All that's left to say, as usual, is go STROS. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.